This is the Associated Press, a self-described independent global news organization dedicated to factual reporting. Back in May 2025, the AP published an article titled, "Trump Wants an Investigation of Democrats' Fundraising. His Own Campaign Has Issues." And during a recent congressional hearing, Democrats used that article to make the following claim.
And an examination of Trump campaign accounts shows that numerous donors listed their address as 999 Anonymous Drive when contributing to the president.
Unnamed donors listing 999 Anonymous Drive as their address.
That is clear evidence of fraud. Those donors could be foreign nationals. These donors possibly committed crimes.
Wow, it's amazing how fast congressional Democrats can turn a potentially minor data entry error into a national security crisis. But let's look at the actual text of this supposed bombshell from the AP to see just how deep this conspiracy goes. Potentially troublesome donations include 4 from unnamed donors, listing an address of 999 Anonymous Drive. So what exactly does that all mean? And how large were these troublesome donations? Well, I decided to find out. This is where I pivot from being the top senior political analyst on YouTube to a rookie data analyst. Unfortunately, going to the Federal Election Commission's website and punching in 999 Anonymous Drive isn't an option, while the browse function allows for filtering by state, city, and zip code. There is no search field for street address. But that doesn't mean the data isn't there. So first, we need to figure out the search parameters. The AP says many of these Trump donors contributed through WinRed, the Republicans' online fundraising platform that is the GOP's answer to the Democrats' fundraising platform, ActBlue. So what I took away from that is that the AP searched not only WinRed records, but also various Trump PACs. So I also searched for the Trump National Committee JFC and the Trump Victory Fund, basically every committee with Trump in the name. Because God forbid that the AP showed their work and said which PAC the unnamed donors contributed to. Anyway, the AP claims that they reviewed the past 5 years of donations to Trump. So I decided to play it safe and search from the beginning of 2020 to May 2025, the month the article was published. From the Trump PACs, there were over 13.5 million results, and from WinRed, nearly 122 million results. Now you might be asking, Andrew, why should I give a shit about 4 troublesome donations out of 135 million donations? Well, you shouldn't really. But if congressional Democrats are going to wave it around as a smoking gun to distract from their own scandals, then we need to see exactly what they're crying about. Unfortunately, when searching the WinRed results, I wasn't able to simply export a spreadsheet containing hundreds of millions of results because it's limited to 500,000. Simply downloading the bulk data files would be ideal, but unfortunately, they don't contain street addresses, just city, state, and zip code. So I had to go to WinRed's page on the FEC site and download FEC files. No relation. And all I needed to do was open them in Notepad and search for 999 Anonymous Drive. Just kidding. These files are absolute monsters. Trying to open a text document with millions of lines of campaign data, which caused my computer to instantly have a stroke. But thankfully, the command prompt offers a workaround. Once the files were downloaded, I told it to create a text file containing every instance the word anonymous appears. Then I would open that text file, copy the results, and paste them into a spreadsheet. And after searching 5 years worth of WinRed's FEC files, I couldn't find a single instance of 999 Anonymous Drive. Womp womp. So instead of having to download around 125 FEC files from all of these political action committees, I decided to take a slightly less tedious route. Again, the FEC website doesn't allow you to export a giant spreadsheet with millions of results. So I typed in date ranges that would hopefully garner less than 500,000 results each time. Then I waited for the website to process the results, and then wait for the website to process and create the spreadsheet. Then I saved the spreadsheet, and then went on to the next date range. I did this dozens of times, creating dozens of spreadsheets. The lengths I go to just because the government can't build a functional search engine. Sad, really. So, after all of that, I was only able to find 3 instances of 999 Anonymous Drive. The 3 I found all occurred on June 26, 2024, and were made to the Trump National Committee, JFC, Inc. One was for $750, one was for $1,000, and one was for $505. Now, the AP reported that there were 4 donors from 999 Anonymous Drive, but it's pretty obvious that these were all likely from the same donor. Where's the 4th donor, you ask? Couldn't tell you, because the AP isn't showing their work. And if you think 999 Anonymous Drive is problematic, well, you haven't seen anything yet. Take, for example, this anonymous donation of $750 to Stacey Abrams' organization, Fair Fight. And how about this anonymous $1,000 donation to Biden for president? Or this anonymous $2,000 donation to Ilhan Omar's campaign? This anonymous $2,000 donation to the Biden Victory Fund? Or this anonymous $2,500 donation to the Biden Victory Fund? And what about this anonymous $5,000 donation to Harris for president? By the AP standard, you could say that a $5,000 anonymous donation is potentially troublesome, right? But it's almost like the independent global news organization isn't really interested in factual reporting unless it hurts Republicans. I know you're shocked. But now that we know that unnamed likely means the word anonymous, that makes things a little easier for the purpose of this video. So let's go back to the Federal Election Commission website and search for every instance where someone made a political donation and listed their name as anonymous. Feel free to try this on your own. Go to contributor details and type in anonymous in the name field. Then wait a couple minutes for it to process. Once it finishes, you should see at least 25,863 results. Then click Export, wait for your spreadsheet file to process, and then download it when it's ready. Within that spreadsheet, you'll find that there were 483 anonymous donations to WinRed, equaling $15,171. But you'll also find 864 anonymous donations made to ActBlue, equaling $17,591. Wait, so ActBlue has nearly double the anonymous entries, but the AP only had eyes for Trump? Classic. And while the AP was so concerned about 4 alleged instances of 999 Anonymous Drive, it completely ignored 5 potentially troublesome donations to ActBlue from 123 Anonymous Street. Other donations using ActBlue include 3 from 123 Fake Street, 9 donations from 9999 99th Avenue, 22 donations were from 0000 Airport Boulevard, 33 donations from 1 Infinite Loop, that's Apple headquarters by the way, 40 donations from My Address 123, and my personal favorite, 6969 Trump Sucks Avenue. Of course, the AP didn't catch any of those troublesome donations because they were only reviewing donations to the bad orange man. In the article, the AP complains, instead of calling for an expansive probe, however, the president identified just one potential target, ActBlue, the Democrats' online fundraising juggernaut, which has acknowledged receiving over 200 potentially illicit contributions last year from foreign internet addresses. So the AP is big mad because Trump called for an investigation into ActBlue, which was completely valid, by the way, considering that ActBlue admitted that they received potentially illicit foreign contributions. And instead, the AP went the route of, but what about the Republicans? And that's not objective journalism. It's political damage control for the Democrats. And seriously, 4 entries of 999 Anonymous Drive was the best they could do? There are literally tens of thousands of unnamed donors with fake addresses, like 1122 Boogie Boogie Avenue, 1 I Like My Privacy Way, 00 Main Street, or 111 Win the Election Drive. But alas, it's the circle of life for fake news. Write a baseless article, let politicians quote it forever, and never ever correct the record. But unlike the Associated Press, I always bring the receipts. Anyway, that's it for now. Head on over to my super cool merch store at don'twalkrun.shop. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time, if there is a next time.